Buenos dias. Good morning, everyone. I hope you are well, staying positive and focused on what you can control. Excuse me. My name is Patricia Mota, and I'm currently serving as president and CEO of HACE, the Hispanic Alliance for Career Enhancement, a national nonprofit whose mission since 1982 is to positively impact workplaces by cultivating the pipeline of Latinx talent, providing our community the insight, access, and development to be successful in their careers. We just got off of celebrating our National Leadership Summit and 40th anniversary. Thank you for all of you all that engaged during those 2 days of workshops, connections, and networking. We're going to talk a little bit more about what happened and how you can still get connected with the opportunities that were shared. And also, we released two special books, a Women of Impact book featuring 40 alum Mujeres de ACE and their stories, and also a 40th anniversary commemoration, Sembrando el Futuro guided journal book. If you did not get your hands on a copy yet, there's still an opportunity. We asked for a $40 donation in honor of the 40th anniversary. So we'll drop the link so that you can get more information and get your copy soon, very, very soon. So I'm excited to have our special guest today, someone that many of us know, some of us that you're kind of getting to know through the ACE Familia for the very first time, who's our newest director at ACE, leading strategic initiatives, programs, and partnerships. And we're super excited to have her join us. Yesy, buenos dias.
Saludos, buenos dias. Thank you for having me, both as part of the familia and as your guest today.
We're super excited to have a conversation with you. Those of you listening in, we want to hear from you in the chat. We want to get to connect, share resources, and really leverage this time to get to know Yesy. Yesy, I first got to meet you many, many years ago, and we'll talk a little bit more about that. But I want to make sure we start off with our infamous question of how do you prefer your cafecito or your morning beverage of choice? Salud.
So I am probably the only Latina in the history of all Latinas and Latinos to not drink coffee. I love the smell of it, but my preferred drink in the morning is a super hot chocolate made with cocoa from the Dominican Republic that I actually shave with some nutmeg and some vanilla. And I always do the Dominican thing as well. Take my little pancito, toast it with butter, and dip it in to make it mushy. And that is the breakfast of choice. So I mix my cafecito as hot chocolate and toasted bread.
Wait, you shave the cocoa every single morning?
Yes, it's like a little thing, the little blocks. I'm sure Dominicans on with us right now know exactly what I'm talking about. So I have it shipped to me from Santo Domingo. And I have the real thing, not the one that's made in the U.S.
Awesome. So maybe you're not the only Latina that does this. Maybe some of your fellow Dominicanos also agree with you. That's amazing. Thank you for sharing. Yesy, we also, with our audience, and I see a lot of good morning in the chat. Buenos dias. Good morning, everyone. Tell us about your background. You have a rich experience and cultural background and professional background. Please share with our audience in terms of your trajectory and how you got to where you are today.
Sure. So Dominican American, born and raised in New York City, although I do consider myself an immigrant. I every time I tell someone that I'm Dominican, they tell me, where from Santo Domingo are you? And I always joke around and say from Washington Heights, which is a neighborhood in New York City, also known as Little Santo Domingo. A blessed neighborhood, in my opinion, because I learned so much of my culture. There's no disconnect with the people that live there and La República. And, I actually didn't know that I was Latina until I got to corporate. Because I didn't walk around Washington Heights saying I'm proud or I'm Dominican or any of that, right? So the way that I did things sort of backwards, I graduated from high school, the first and only individual in my family to do that. Graduated from high school, didn't do a gap year, did 7 gap years. And in the midst of all of that, I went to trade school to learn a trade. And I learned how to be an amazing administrative assistant. and I began to dabble in different industries. What I didn't want to do was get a 4-year degree and then end up in the industry to find out that I didn't even love it, have passion for it, or anything in between. So at 25, I went back to school, got my bachelor. In between that, I ended up in the financial industry space, and it kind of sort of found me versus me finding it. And I ended up falling in love with everything investment banking, even teaching my children so much about it. After graduation, I got my first promotion, and to make the story a bit shorter, I went from being an admin assistant to executive director. And those who are online with us in the finance industry, executive director, also used interchangeably with the word director, is the almost to last notch that you get to in finance. The highest level is managing director. Director is right under it. So a legacy that I'm very, very proud of. Would I have ever imagined walking the marble halls of Fortune 500 as an executive? No. But it's homage to my immigrant parents who came here with nothing, and success for them, right? Living vicariously through me, that I graduated and I became an executive, and so did they. I'm also an award-winning entrepreneur, and my job as an executive was to reach back. I always say, send the elevator back down so someone could get back on it. And if you didn't come up the elevator and you came up the ladder, you strengthen the ladder with good rungs, and that it's sturdy enough for someone else to climb it. So I began an organization to help women navigate corporate America and succeed just like I have succeeded. And that's what I will continue to do.
Absolutely, Yessi. We love to have you now as a team member at HACE because of our shared mission, right? All of the work that you've done with, and I know we have a lot of Proud to be Latina fans out there, right, that are joining us in that. Salute you for all of your great work, me included, in terms of, being able to participate in your, Proud to be Latina conferences that you had. Many good friends that I have had the honor to be honored with, like Damari Bonilla, and many others that are also been part of the Mujeres de HACE Familia as well. And so we're super excited to have you on board. And being that, and we're getting a lot of great comments. Crystal, I know there's another one in terms that can relate with your own journey and your own experience. What are you most excited about now, being able to continue to pursue and elevate your mission at HACE?
I'm excited about the fact that you have been around for 40 years, really dedicating. The organization's a little older than me. My forever age is 33, right? But, this is an established organization, well-known, worldwide, global, and every organization at some point or the other just needs, fresh fire, fresh perspective, someone who has kept their finger on the pulse of business, someone who has lived your mission, right? So your mission is to get someone from wherever they are to wherever they want to be, right? And I am that mission. So I'm really excited about leveraging the experiences, both personally and professionally, and showing the women and the men that we are now engaging with at HACE what is possible. Because one of the things that I never saw when I was coming up the ladder was people that looked like me. And in some ways, it didn't always matter. I was focused on what I could do, not what I didn't see being done. But it's really an amazing opportunity to be that role model, that example, that impossible task, or that impossible goal that people think it's never going to happen because I'm Latina. And here I am. So I'm excited about bringing that to the organization and coupling my experience with your amazing knowledge and the knowledge of the rest of the familia to really make HACE much, much greater than what it already is.
Absolutely. Thank you, Yessi. Those of you in the chat, if you have any questions or comments, we want to hear from you. We'll have some time for questions at the end. Hi, Angie is one of our Mujeres de HACE alum. Thank you for always joining us. She's one of our Cafecito fans out there. Many that we have Love it, love it, love it. And we just came off the heels, as I mentioned, our National Leadership Summit and ASEF's 40th anniversary. And so Yossi joined us just in time to be able to experience that. It was our first ever hybrid. So we had folks engaging in person and also virtually. From your perspective, and I know you were working hard because I know you just joined the team, but everybody was working very hard, make sure everybody had a phenomenal experience throughout the 2 days. But from your perspective, what would you share with our audience in terms of key takeaways or just your experience from that?
Sure. So, I mean, jokingly, I was just excited to be able to wear shoes and regular clothes and see people. And we actually were able to hug and touch,
Yes.
which is so important to the human, to human wellness. So I was really appreciative of that. I did get to engage in some of the conversations, but a lot of the work that I did there was really just reconnecting with a lot of people, familiar faces. And my key takeaway, all of the conversations were extremely robust. And I feel like the connections this time around were more meaningful. I believe that people are now in a space where they're more intentional. So it didn't mean that I gave out 1,000 cards. I may have given out 20 cards, but those 20 cards are going to be really robust relationships that I will hone over the course of time. And my key takeaway is you don't have to wait for a summit to nourish your network. So as a takeaway in this conversation, every other day, Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, I set up 40 minutes to have a virtual lunch with either a colleague, a coworker, an industry partner. Never miss it. They get their lunch on their side. I get my lunch on my side, and we have a virtual lunch, and we literally serve. The rule is that you have to put your drink, whatever it may be, in a wine glass. And we literally have lunch together y brindamos a la vida. So I encourage you to, do the same thing. Don't wait until the need to have that human interaction to nourish your network. And don't tap your network when you need something. Always have that continuous momentum of touching base with people. And I can't say this enough, always check on your strong friends. You never know what someone is going through. So those were my big takeaways. And of course, it was great to catch up with people and see where everybody is.
Yeah, I love it. It resonates. I think, to your point, it was so great to see people in person, give those hugs and connect. And I loved all of the conversations. And even if folks were new to the ASE Familia, right, they felt welcomed and they felt embraced. And the other key thing that I also heard quite a bit is how empowering and fulfilling it was to be in a room full of successful Latinos that are striving to do more, not only for themselves, right, but for the communities. Everybody was I want to be able to do better, but I want to be able to give back. And I feel like I felt it, we felt it, right? And it was just an amazing, amazing experience. And for those of you tuning in, I know, Yessi, you shared some amazing networking tips. Don't wait to network when you need it, when you're looking for that next opportunity. Bernice, hashtag always networking, one of our team members. Yes. Making sure that you're always cultivating that network, right? Because you never know. And I love the tip that you shared, right? Is scheduling those lunches, whether it be virtual, whether if you're able to connect in person now. They could be cafecitos, right? You say, let's have a cafecito, but make sure that you are reaching out to folks. And it's not necessarily that you need something, but making sure that you are able to offer something as well, right? In return, how can I help you? Who can I connect you with? What can I do? And so excellent, excellent tips. I know we have time for any questions or comments that you have for Yessi. Again, just an amazing story that you have. And I know the more that we're able to share with the ASE Familia, you're going to have a lot of folks that are going to be reaching out, asking questions, getting your tips. And that's part of all of our roles and the great work that we get to do at ASE and leading this mission. So we're super thrilled to have you. What other advice? I know right now with folks, you talked a little bit about networking, but those that are looking to leverage this unique time and space that we're in the world of work, to be visible, right? When we're in
Mhm.
this hybrid environment.
I think that, learn how to have virtual gravitas. I think one
Mm,
of the things that I see a lot is individuals who think, oh, is only online. I don't have to go anywhere. But I really believe in showing up ready and set to go with your best dress, with your best pose. Even if you have shorts underneath, right? Have at least your top ready. But I remember like doing a speaking engagement the other day and I completely dressed up and had on lipstick, had my heels on, and
oh,
literally lifted my computer up um,
mm,
to feel like I was on stage. So virtual gravitas is very, very important. And perhaps, Patricia, that's a topic that we can even teach in one of our workshops. But
love it.
being present, having your camera on, being attentive, not being on your phone while you're on video, even if you aren't the one speaking, you should still be attentive to the ones who are speaking. And then Zoom, Teams, whatever platform is just like the meeting room. So if you are in the meeting room, you have a responsibility to speak up and always take an opportunity to not showcase, but like really lend your expertise.
Hmm.
Remember that you are not invited to a room because you are a woman, because you are a person of color. You are invited to a room because you are an expert. And when you are
Hmm.
an expert, you have a responsibility to show that expertise and give value add to the conversation.
Awesome. Emily says if she appreciates your comment, what you say about networking as a college senior. Emily, getting ready for those internships, that entry level opportunity. Make sure to leverage your HACE Familia to connect as you're looking for our career center, as you're looking for those opportunities. Yessie, with your comments, I also heard hashtag virtual gravitas. We saw hashtag always be networking. And so I hope everyone tuning in, you got some key nuggets, some key takeaways from Yessi today. And there's more as you go, through our programs and get to connect with Yessi and our other amazing team members, coaches, and trainers that we have that are part of the HACE Familia. And so, Yessi, as and before we wrap up, and I asked Yessi her last question, I want to remind everyone there's a lot more tips and insight in the Women of Impact book that was just launched, and also the Sembrando el Futuro 40th anniversary. HACE has copies available. We asked for a $40 donation, and so we'll make sure that link is dropped in the comment section. Amazing, amazing stories. But not only is this a book, it's a guided journal. So it helps you reflect on your own career journey. Think about what you should be, what are some areas of opportunity. And so leverage this tool for your career and to get to know HACE a bit more in the familia. That's amazing people that are part of it. Yessi, as we wrap up, what are you most excited about for the remainder of this year?
The remainder of this year and the remainder of life, right?
Eso, I love that.
I know that the last 4 years have been so tumultuous for so many of us. There's not one person on earth that hasn't been touched in some way with a challenge. But I want to remind people that it is in those challenged moments that you find the strength to do something new, to do something better, to reflect on who you are. Always remember that your name is enough and that titles and organizations are not your agency. Your agency is you and your self validation. So, what I am most excited about is about the people who have taken these challenges and turned them into opportunities.
Mhm.
And we've seen so much shift in the job market and so many promotions, and people even starting businesses from their homes. And really learning how to bob and weave through all these crazy times. So I know that one of the questions that you had asked was, what do I hope for? And
Mhm.
I don't lean on, I think hope is a powerful word because it really gives us strength. But I have over the course of time replaced hope with trust. When you
Mm.
hope, it's like, okay, maybe something might happen, maybe it may not happen. Let's see what happens. But when you trust, you know that you're going to put in the discipline, the hard work to make it happen. And
Mhm.
so I trust that everyone has shifted gears, is learning how to live somewhat of a new normal, and is understanding that more now than ever, life has been so fragile. So taking risks and taking chances is so important because we are all here on borrowed time and we don't want to go to our next place with regrets or with any feelings that we didn't give something a try. There's no such thing as failure, only redirection. So I'm trusting that everyone has thought about their redirection.
Yeah, see, I'm sure because I'm inspired. You left everyone inspired this morning, and there's a lot more there that we can spend probably an hour or a few hours having a conversation. Thank you for joining us this morning. We're so excited and thrilled to have you as part of the asset team. And oh, she said it right.
Wait, we're backwards.
You said a lot there, but one thing that really stuck out is like trust in yourself and the self-validation, right? And that's another a tweetable moment if those of us are still on Twitter or hashtag.
Always bet on yourself.
There you go.
I also use the hashtag I got me.
I love it.
You know, thank you again.
Let's see them on the comments, everyone. Thank you, Yessi. Gracias a todos. Hasta la próxima. Until next time. Take care.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.